Hearing no's doesn't bother me at this point. At first I'll say in the beginning of my career, it can be a little discouraging, it
Yeah.
hurts. But now it's like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm not meant to be there right now. But then, I'll circle back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of see it as redirection a lot of times. Sometimes you might also not be prepared for a certain opportunity. It might not be for you at that moment.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Kick Back and Vibe. I'm your host, DNYC, and we the only show where you can kick back, relax, and have some fun here in Midtown, New York City. I'm super excited and pumped up because this guest I'm about to bring to the stage is known for conducting interviews for some biggest names in the game. Plus, she's worked for a few companies, NAACP, BET, Mediacom, debut at the function. I'm super excited for us to have this conversation. Y'all show some love for Nino Reyes.
What's up?
This is long overdue.
Hi. I'm excited.
I'm
I'm so excited.
Cut the music, cut the music, cut the music. Nino, how are you?
I'm amazing. I feel great. I feel fascinating.
I'm excited. Welcome to the function.
Thank
Before we
you.
get started, I got to give a shout out to Tracy.
Shout out to Tracy.
Yes, because
Shout out
that
to my
barbecue.
girl.
We went to that barbecue, we connected, and I was fascinated, by your story.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
You know?
I'm excited to be here. It's a beautiful studio. That's one. Your show is amazing, so I feel very honored.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But let's just jump straight in. In this media game, there's a bunch of different avenues a person can, go down. But I'm curious to know, what was it about the journalist out that made you say, you know what, this is what I want to do?
Choosing journalism as my route.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I actually did a project based off a book called A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. And we had to write like an article, and it was my English teacher who really told me hey, you have amazing writing skills. And when I did this project, after she reviewed it, she was like, hey, you should look into journalism as a career. I was a sophomore in high school. I went to a charter school in the Bronx. And I was just like, what's journalism? I didn't know at the time. So I was like, is it journaling, writing in a book? And then I started just Googling it and doing my research. And then I find out that journalism is such a broad field that you can do photojournalism, you can be, in entertainment news, you can be a news anchor, news reporter, you can be a radio host, it's literally a variety of things you can do within the field of journalism. So initially I wanted to be a photojournalist. I wanted to work for National Geographic. I wanted to travel the world and take photos of nice scenery and animals and, be on mountaintops and just really see some dope stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually I realized, you know what? I watched the news a lot with my mom. So I would watch Telemundo, Univision, and I'm like, you know what? I want to be a news anchor. I was like, I want to be on TV.
That's something I wanted to do too.
Yeah. I was like, I want to be a news anchor, and I think that's more fitting for me. And, I was inspired by seeing other anchors. And then I decided to go to college to study broadcasting and journalism. And I just fell in love with media. And then, things kind of just evolved from there. I started in radio. Radio became another thing, and it all kind of, became production. I started working on film productions and just a variety. And yeah, it's just been up ever since.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like, media itself has changed from when we was in school all the way to now.
Yeah.
Because social media, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's a thing where you have to constantly keep up with the trends and the ways. And sometimes it can be a little hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for somebody who's not used to social media and stuff like that, but hey, I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
It is what it is.
For sure.
I love the fact that you're always out and about. Recently,
Yeah.
you was at the BET Awards.
Yeah.
So congrats to that.
Thank you.
Just
Yeah.
talk about how was that experience.
Yeah.
How can somebody, be behind the scenes for something like that, and how does it come about?
I think everybody always talks about networking and the importance of networking, but
Absolutely.
I think, definitely I got into BET through a friend. I was a part of an organization called Black Excellence Society, and I was the member experience manager, and I was able to bring a job into that organization, and it was to become a press ambassador working for the BET Awards. And then, you know, they hired me to do it, and I was like, all right, like that's cool. So it's more public relations work. So what we do is we escort like celebrities and talent through the red carpet. You know, we make sure that they're going to different outlets and chatting with them, just making sure that they have a smooth and seamless process. So that definitely opened the door for me. You know, people seeing like, oh, you're associated with BET now, and definitely I've been building so many relationships at BET.
Networking is key.
Yeah, networking is really key. And I do want to shout out Erica Knox. She definitely opened that door for me. She's a corporate communications coordinator at BET, and she's the one that's definitely been like reaching out to different women and different public relations or publicists, I'll say, that, you know, are talented and bringing them on, you know, on board. So I think that's pretty dope, you know, to have women who, you know, see you and also are, you know, helping you and, you know, sharing resources with you. So, you know, shout out to her for sure.
Absolutely. Networking is definitely key. I always tell people this is a field where it requires you to actually talk. So I always say, if you're introverted, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to build some extroverted skills. I'm an extrovert, slight introvert tendencies. And you know, with this industry, you have to talk. You got to communicate with people, because if you don't network, then you're gonna be left behind. And then when you see some of your friends or people you know, and be like, yo, how did you do this? How did you do that?
Yeah, you gotta use your voice, man. You know, I actually I just recently joined like a running club in Uptown. It's called We Run Uptown. And I met a girl, and she works like in a law firm, and she was like, you know, I'm very introverted. And I'm like, I could be introverted too. Like, funny thing, but a lot of people think because what they see me as a public figure, they assume that I'm always extroverted. And I'm like, sometimes I like to be in my shell. And then she's like, you know what? You have to use your voice to make money. If you don't use your voice, you're not going to make money. She's like, the people who don't speak up or don't use their voice or their talent, those are the people who kind of stay behind. And I was kind of like, damn, like, you know, it kind of is true. I was like, it is kind of true.
I might have to change a couple of things.
I was like, you know, we have to use these skills. We have a voice, and, you know, a lot of times your voice also shows your knowledge and your wisdom and your expertise, and, you know, you just got to put it out there. So definitely that's a gift I've been given, and I definitely take full advantage. Hence why I do like panels and public speaking. Yeah, because I feel like, you know what, like my voice is to be used and not to, like, you know, just always be introverted in my bed, hidden, you know.
It be like that sometimes.
You need that sometimes. It's a balance, dualism, you know.
Absolutely. I have the interviews with a couple of celebrities. I'm curious to know, and you can be honest with me, who was your favorite one where you were slight starstruck, but you had to keep your composure? Because you did provide a platform where it's like they're comfortable around you telling their unique story. But who was one you was like, ooh, nah, I can't believe I'm really doing this?
Starstruck.
Slight, just a slight. Not too.
I would say Pop Smoke, but I wasn't really starstruck. I had a crush on him. I'm being honest.
R.I.P., man.
Definitely. He was very, you know, attractive young man. I would say Bobby Brown was also someone who I was like really kind of like, okay, that's dope. I'm interviewing Bobby Brown. Like I find him to be very iconic, you know, in the R&B pop scene, you know. And then I think also Vic Mensa, but I never interviewed Vic Mensa. I actually escorted him. I was doing like press ambassador work, so with BET. So I think seeing him, and he's super humble. He's super dope. He was a really cool individual. And I think Patience Foster, I interviewed Patience Foster and NLE Choppa. They were also pretty amazing. I think NLE, I'm not gonna say I was starstruck, but I would say, like, you know, I kind of was like, oh, it's cool that I'm interviewing him. Like, he's very big on holistic health, and like, he's a much deeper than his music, you know. So to really learn his personality was amazing. And then Patience Foster, she's Cardi B's publicist. Patience Foster taught me so much in the sense of like,
She mentored you?
No, but but in her interview, when I interviewed her, I was learning so much about her journey and, like, you know, everything she went through, which was so inspiring to learn that, you know, she really came from rock bottom and really built like this empire with like now so much talent, and so many people are seeking out for her because they know how good she is. Like, she's a rock star publicist in the entertainment business. So, like, you know, to know that she can build careers at that capacity, that she has the relationships, yeah, she's definitely very inspirational to me. So definitely she was one of those people that I was like, definitely like, okay, it's dope, you know, chatting with her. And yeah, I'll say those are a few people for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. You know, one thing I could say about New York, that's one thing I love about New York, we're go-getters.
Yeah, well,
like, we'll get to it, you know what I'm saying? And when you have that mentality and when it's embedded in your heart and soul, you'll always find a way to make it happen.
That's a fact.
Especially when it's like, okay, I know it's last minute. I know I got to pull some strings together, but I'm going to find a way to make it happen. And that's the vibe I get from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to make this happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you do it, it's like you have so many accolades under your belt, which causes people to like, no, I want to work with Nino. Hey, Nino, can you do X, Y, and Z for me? And I like that about you.
Yeah, I don't give up. Like, I don't even care how much times I face rejection. I'm the type of person I'm gonna always go. I really believe that it's all about hearing that one yes. Like, if you're hearing a bunch of no's, there's gonna be that one yes somewhere. So just keep going until you hear that yes. So I'm the type of person, like, hearing no's doesn't bother me at this point. You know, at first I'll say in the beginning of my career, it can be a little discouraging. It hurts. But now it's like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm not meant to be there right now. But then, you know, I'll circle back. You know what I mean? So I kind of see it as redirection a lot of times. Sometimes you might also not be prepared for a certain opportunity. It might not be for you at that moment, but it might be for you 5 years down the line. You know, you just might need a extra level of preparation. Sometimes it's about preparation meeting the right timing. So, you know, that's when you get, like, you know, magic happens. So I'm very patient about my journey and about time. Like, I value time very differently now. I think growing up and as I've been getting older and more mature, I'm starting to understand why it's good to pace yourself. I was always very impatient growing up, and I always wanted things so quickly. Like, okay, I want this now. Like, I should have this now. Like, you know, and I would kind of like push so hard to have certain things, but now I'm kind of like, oh, whatever. If I didn't get that right now, it's cool. I'll come around it. I'll find another thing. Yeah, and I'll focus on what I need to focus on to get what I want. But I just don't feel like, oh, it has to be right now, you know. And I think yeah, it's just my mom taught me that, you know, patience.
Shout out to the mom.
Shout out to mom.
She came to the function, man. Hey, big up to her, and I met her too. But you see, only thing I would say is that it's hard for many people to adapt to that patience is key type of mentality, because especially in a field like this that's respectfully overly competitive, it's hard. Like, think about people that want to get into acting, who want to become a rapper, if they are an actor, I mean, or a rapper, and they're not really, I guess you could say, seeing the success they want to, you know, to see, is like, it's kind of hard for them to adapt to that, because it's kind of like, all right, I'm always dealing with a rejection. I've been doing this for, let's say, 5 years, still haven't received a yes. It's kind of like, what do I do next? And sometimes they really don't know what to do.
You know, sometimes I think that some people try doing the same, like, let's say you've been doing something for 5 years, but you're doing the same thing. You cannot think you're going to see a different result. And I've seen that. I've seen people that have certain careers and they think, okay, I'm going to keep doing this thing and the same process. And sometimes you have to pivot. You have to learn, like, okay, there's probably a new trend. You know, you and I were talking about it earlier, like, you know, marketing, there's so many new trends. And that is also something that you need to apply within your career. Like, as a musician, there are new trends that are coming. I'm sure there was a point where Spotify wasn't a thing, Apple Music wasn't a thing, TikTok wasn't a thing. But now, as a musician, you need to be on those platforms. So you need to get on that wave. And I think that applies across all careers, like, in all kinds of jobs and, you know, all kinds of opportunities. Like, you have to know how to change and adapt and evolve. And I think that sometimes people don't want to evolve. They kind of want to, like, for example, I know there are artists out here who they might make music and they just want to stay stuck to what they know. I'm like, well, you might need to expand a bit or try something different. Maybe try a different marketing technique. Yeah, and if you're not trying to hear that, then this is not the game for you. Because if you cannot handle forms of criticism or critique when people are trying to help you improve, then you need to reconsider if this is the business you want to be in. Because everybody who actually makes it and goes really crazy heights are people who can handle forms of criticism, and they are actually listening to it and they're receptive to it. They know, okay, this is a person who has a different level of expertise and they're teaching me something right now. So whatever they're telling me, let me listen to it and apply it. So that's the game. And some people don't really know how to listen to certain things, and they kind of take, you know, offense to it. Like, oh, you trying to come for my music? You think I'm not telling? Like, no, I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you, try this so you can see a different result.
That's the professional Nino. That's the professional Nino.
Right, like, come on now, come on.
But I always say constructive criticism, if you're able to take constructive criticism, I feel like you're one step closer to not only mastering emotional intelligence, but you're going to have the ability to be around people longer than just anybody. Because I'm going to be honest with you, anytime somebody had me listen to their music, I would just be very honest and transparent, but be respectful about it.
Yeah,
I'd just
I
be
can
like,
see
hey,
you being
listen.
very honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't got time to BS around, but I'm just going to be like, hey, listen, I feel like your music needs work. And then I'll explain to them. Don't do that. We're not doing this.
He'll tell you straight up, your music sucks.
The New York side probably is.
Yeah.
But
your music needs work.
yeah, it needs work. And one thing I can say about
Yeah.
New York music, whether it's drill, whether you're doing trap, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
it's getting to a point where it's so much music to listen to, but only a handful are
Yeah.
taking it serious.
That's
Only
true.
a handful understanding that, okay, I know I need a job to, you know, fund this music career. I know I need to hit a showcase. I know I have to do this. I have to do that. Maybe I need to take a different approach.
Right.
And then you got some that's just doing music because straight up they saw their friend do it. Or they probably been in the studio with your friend, but you don't know what your friend thinks about when they got to think about, oh, snap, I got to pay for the studio session again, and it's $50, $60 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Some people also don't understand, like, the business of music. People think it's just making music. There's a business to music.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know what you're investing into. You know, a lot of times you might need forms of development. So you might need an A&R on your team. You might need a
Artist
publicist.
development is gone.
Yeah, but that's let's what's gonna happen when you go and perform and you out of breath? Like, you need to work on your stamina. And a lot of times, you know, performing is an art, and sometimes that's where you get choreographers, you get people to support you to know how to do that, to how to engage with an audience, right? Like, people think getting on a stage and performing is just, oh, you just get on stage and you get on a mic, and no, you need to know how to vibe out with that audience, and you need to create, you're creating that vibe, you know? But it's not even just performing, it's also the money, the financial part that some people don't know how to manage. And it's like, hey, it's a lot to it, you know, it's a lot. There's the legal part that people don't understand. That's why a lot of people complain about their 360 deals. And I'm like, well, maybe you should have gotten a good lawyer to really like tell you
And
what you're getting into.
too.
Yeah, but even though if they're
Everything's
expensive, it's an
yeah.
investment into you. You know, like, there's so much money I put behind my brand, but I don't see it as expensive. I'm like, this is what I gotta do to get to where I want to go.
And I like that. There's
You know?
a difference between expense. You're not spending, you're investing. So when you
Right.
understand that language,
Exactly.
it's kind of like you'll do it. Or even
Right.
if the person don't got it at the moment, they'll
Yeah.
find a way to make it happen.
Exactly.
When you understand like certain languages, and it's never gonna be an issue when it comes to your brand.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah, sometimes,
do.
you know, is that sense of financial literacy, also knowing how to manage
Yup,
financially. I think as an artist, sometimes too, people forget that you also have to know how to manage yourself. Like, people are out here looking for managers. You cannot seek a manager until you are ringing so much that people are booking you left and right. That's when you get a manager. Until then, you got to know how to manage yourself. You get what I'm saying?
I always felt like a manager, an artist manager,
Yeah.
is the individual that literally can guide your career, help you like with deals, everything, the
Yeah.
whole nine. They're pretty much advocating on your behalf. Now, I know
Yeah.
that's somewhat of a publicist, a PR role, but it's kind of like, okay, when they're not around you,
Yeah.
they need to be doing stuff. I'm not saying that'd be every single day, because obviously that person has a life, but always keep in the back of your mind, like, hey, well, I have an artist who does X, Y, and Z. Are you guys looking for anybody?
Right.
Hit up some venues, hit up some, you know how restaurants have those open mics and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You never
yeah.
know who's sitting in there, right?
It's their job to definitely have you booked and busy, for sure. But there's a lot of artists that they are not there yet. Like, until you can do your own bookings, you should not even be looking for a manager. Like, sometimes you gotta book and do your own stuff. And then people that already do that, they have a different appreciation when then they build a team. That's when the team comes.
Yeah.
But before the team comes, you as an artist gotta put in work. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you need to get into the business of it and understand what you're working with. And I think those that make it, it's because they understand the work that goes behind it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus thinking it looks a certain way, you know?
Full transparency, and be
Yeah.
honest with me. Do you feel like, I say not all of them, but
Yeah.
maybe a good portion, do you feel like every single person who makes music is going to make it?
No.
No? Okay. I'm not the only one. Because you know what's crazy? I said that on the episode,
Yeah.
and people looked at me like, yo, Day, why would you say that?
It's the
And
truth.
no, it's just harsh reality. Not
Yeah.
everybody's going to make it. I feel like it's one of those things where, okay, you know how they, like, people try to make it to the league,
Yeah.
NBA. then most people don't make it, but it's always a different avenue, physical therapist, an MBA skills trainer. I personally feel like no, reason being because one, not many people take it serious. I feel like many people are looking for like a quick come up. Everybody wants a quick viral. It's like they want to be viral, and it's like, why not seek longevity? You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that feel like they're somewhat behind on life, not music, behind on life, because they're so caught up with just making music. It's kind of like, damn, like, when the last time I went back to school, when the last time I did this, when the last time I did that. And I always say, like, yeah, unfortunately, that's just harsh reality, but there's many different avenues. I always felt like the person who's the sound engineer and the producer, if you think if they have somewhat of a longer career than the artist, because they're behind the scenes, people's gonna always need them to either tune up a record, help them with certain things. And I feel like once you understand that dynamic, it'll kind of help an artist pivot, being that they say, okay, well, I know not everybody's gonna make it. I want to be able to make it. Let me find a way, or let me attend a panel where you're doing, or just anywhere where people can understand, okay, I need to be different from everybody else. Let me be a part of the 1% so that the 99% who's probably not taking this serious, I could obviously be above.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think there's a lot of people that are not really pursuing things out of passion. And I think those who make it are those who are truly, truly passionate, that they have like a fire within them, that's their only desire. You have to be obsessed with what you do in order to really make it into those heights, you know? And there's a lot of people that they might like what they do. Oh, this is fun, it's enjoyable, okay, but it's not what you love. And there's people, for example, when we see people like LeBron, when we see people like MJ, when we see people like, man, like Steph Curry, these are people who, while other people were partying and hanging out and having fun, these people were in the court shooting and practicing and doing drills. And a lot of times the people that make it are the people that are putting those hours in, that time in, the people that have a different level of discipline and resilience. That's like, no matter what, there is no plan B. This is my plan A, and this is what I'm going for, you know? And I think sometimes if you do have a plan B, plan C, plan D, then you got all these fallback plans, and you're not really all in on plan A, you know what I mean? And there are people who, I know that this is what it is for me, and I'm going for that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Overall, just thank you for this conversation. Continue to be a voice in this media space. We need more black women in this space that are professional, hands-on, know what the hell they're doing, and know how to operate, especially when it comes to panels and stuff like that. So
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming by the function.
Such an amazing experience, you know, and this is a really amazing studio, guys, by the way. So
you
for those that watch, yes, I do. I want to come back, you know, maybe round 2.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Real quick before we go, just let them know where they can find you. Camera right here.
Yeah, you guys can find me at NRE.24 on Instagram, or you can Google me at Nino Reyes. Nino, like Nino Brown, last name Reyes. You guys can find me on LinkedIn. You guys can find me on YouTube. You guys can find me. I don't have Twitter. I have a TikTok, but I don't use it. But I'm very active on Instagram, so that's definitely where to find me. NRE.24. Cool.
Well, it will be at the bottom of your screen. Thank you. I appreciate Nino Reyes for stopping by the function, providing a lot of gems. I appreciate my team backstage, my viewers. Thank you so much. Gotta give a shout out to the mom. Thank you, Mom, for stopping by the function as well. Guys, thank you. It's your boy Dave signing off.
All right.
Take care and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.